Today I'm going to teach you how to do a really easy self-finishing for a key fob. All it takes is a couple materials. I am doing the most simplistic version. This is a no-sew tutorial, so we're just going to be using glue, ribbon, and the key fob hardware. That's it. I have been needlepointing since I was a kid. My grandmother taught me. When I was in high school, I started doing self-patterned needlepoints. All right, let's get into it. I will have all of this linked down below, but basically what we're looking at here is your finished canvas, a pair of scissors. I have two glues out, you don't need them. I'm just gonna test both and decide which one I wanna work with. Your ribbon, which I will show you guys in a second. So I basically pre-measured the width of this and then ordered a ribbon that would match that, and then key fob hardware that also was gonna match that. Okay, so with my ribbon now unboxed, I'm just gonna double check that and say, okay, yep, that looks great. That's about the same width. And we all make mistakes. I just realized that I am missing a few stitches here in the blue to match up with the white, so I'm gonna pause and stitch those. Now, while we're looking at the back, it might be helpful to clean up the back of your canvas a little bit. If you have a ton of just sort of flyaways, you don't really need to go too hard on this, but just if yours looks a lot messier than this, if you have stuff going either direction, in order for us to get this flat, it'll just be helpful the more of these sort of like little flyaways that you can cut out. But again, do not overstress yourself on this. It's really not ultimately gonna make a huge difference. All right, let's get back into it. Now that I have my Pokeball Squirtle needlepoint, which I am so thrilled about. Okay, so first things first, we are gonna cut this. And obviously this is a little more nerve-wracking because you want to make sure that you cut the correct amount here. But we're gonna leave just a little bit. I will probably honestly cut this down more. Let's see how this comes out. I just wanna do an initial thing to get the bottom of this canvas really off and cut down on our sides here. I've chopped this down a full amount. Now what I'm gonna do is actually cut to the corner so that we can fold these more easily. So just be very gentle with doing this so you don't cut into anything. And then you can just sort of test this and actually just sort of like mock fold this and see what it's looking like. So that's gonna look pretty good. I might cut this to have a little bit less length just to make it easier to kind of fold in, but honestly, it's already pretty good as is. So I'll do that on the other side. This is where the glue is gonna come in. We're gonna be using super glue, so make sure that you have like a paper towel down or something that you don't mind getting glue on, basically. And what you're gonna do is like pre-fold these a little bit just to kind of get it in the right shape here. Fold the top in and then these sides on top of it. And then literally, I think I'm gonna choose to use the Gorilla Glue first and see how that goes. So we're literally just gonna put some glue here. Let's see if the Gorilla Glue wants to work. Yeah. All the way down the line here. Try not to get it on your fingers because it really does like to stick. So this is a great place to use a paper towel. Get that really folded down. So what that's gonna do is just help us start to get the shape here. We're gonna shape this more as we add the ribbon on, but this is just kind of our starting point. So again, let's go now to the top and get a little bit out here. Yep, great, excellent. So now I'm gonna fold over that top piece and make sure that that's kind of in there. Now, again, I promise no sew, so there are definitely other ways to do this, and I'm sure I'll get wrecked in the comments for my particular methodology, but this is just what I found easiest for me if I'm making like a quick gift, because I do not have a sewing machine. I do not have an iron, so I can't do those iron-on things. I could acquire these things, I just have not. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this off and then loop back with you. All right, so we have this basically glued now, and you can see from the front, it looks pretty good to go. What you're gonna wanna do is let the glue set for a moment. So maybe put this down for like 5-10 minutes, go make yourself a glass of tea, and then we're gonna work on adding the ribbon. All right, first things first, you're gonna obviously wanna measure the ribbon and make sure that it fits this. Lay it down, and then if you have a little marker or a pen, just kind of mark like where you wanna cut. If you really care about perfectionism, you can cut them a little bit longer and fold it over like a seam, but this is actually gonna get clamped into the key fob area anyways, so I don't mind it being a little bit messy on the ends. Okay, now we're gonna do the really simple part, which is just lay the ribbon down and glue it. And this is kind of almost our final step here. You're gonna see me swapping glues here, but it's literally just because I ran out of my Gorilla Glue. That was working perfectly fine. Once you've pressed down the ribbon, you're gonna wanna just let it dry. I'm gonna once again note, if you wanna take an extra step here, you can do a second layer of ribbon here if you wanna cover up some of maybe like the see-through, because I'm using a white ribbon. If you're using more of a, you can also cut a piece of fabric. Like there's a lot of different ways to do this. I just like the ribbon because it's already finished on the side, so I don't have to do anything extra there. So I'm gonna leave this to sit for 10 minutes and then we're gonna get to the key fob hardware. Okay, so just a note, my glue just finished drying, but what I found is the ribbon is a little bit wider on part of this than the actual size that I made. So what I'm gonna do is add a little bit of extra glue in the sides here and just sort of frame this down so that it frames the actual image. So I'll do that quickly and then loop back. We are finally at the end point here. So folding this in half, grabbing your key fob. So I'm gonna grab one without the key ring attached. Wait to attach the key ring until the end, just because it makes it a little bit easier on the pliers. And then you're gonna kind of just like zhuzh this on. Just like push the needlepoint in and get it really locked in there. It might take a little bit of maneuvering and you wanna make sure that it's even on both sides so that you're properly folding this and getting your designs like on the right space. Yeah, that's looking pretty good to me. So now you're just gonna take your pliers and literally just clamp this thing. It's honestly not particularly hard. Literally just a little bit of pressure. Cool, good. I think we're like already good to go here. Again, if you are more of a perfectionist, doing the pliers directly on the metal can leave little marks, so you're welcome to use like a little towel or something around it so that there's a little bit more protection for the metal. At this point, I kind of want to just finish this off to look a little bit nicer. So what I'm gonna do is like trim. There's like a little bit of extra fabric sticking out here. Kind of just trim this in to look nice. Cool, good to go. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and take my key ring and add that on, and that's literally it, guys. It's done. You have made a key fob. Hopefully yours is also some kind of fun design, but that's it. And this is something I can now wrap up and gift to my friend for his birthday tomorrow, and I'm so excited about it. If you are in the needlepoint world, you might have noticed that canvases have been like hardcore sold out everywhere, and it's kind of hard to get them, in addition to them being kind of crazy expensive. So I have really enjoyed self-patterning because the actual mesh you can get for like $10 a yard or something dirt cheap. And then it's really easy, and particularly for me when I'm doing Nintendo, because Nintendo was naturally like 16-bit, 8-bit, I can sometimes just look up pixel art. So like I think I Googled pixel art Squirtle and then pixel art Pokeball, and I literally just like copied the 8-bit grid pattern and then copied that onto my canvas and sewed that through with the right color. So it was like really, really easy. I did this using leftover thread from another project, so I didn't even spend any money on it. And then just bought the key fob hardware and the ribbon, and that's good to go for another like 25 projects now. So I highly recommend. If we haven't met before, I'm Margaret. I am a coastal creative. I love needle pointing and basket weaving, and I am also living in LA and figuring out being a creative in the city and making it. And I love YouTube and love filming, so I'm trying to get more familiar with filming videos. So this is kind of a different video for me, is trying a tutorial with needlepoint. If you like it, let me know. I'm figuring it out. I could do more needlepoint tutorials and self-finishing things, or how to like pattern your own thing. I don't know. Let me know. Okay, I'll see you guys soon.